And now we have come to the recast for Season 2 of Winx Club. If you haven't watched my recast for Season 1, go watch it by clicking the link in the cards. I will be honest when I say I did cheat by using a lot of Unicorn Awards choices that he had in his video. He just had a lot of really great choices, but I have plenty of my own choices. Now, without any further delay, let's dive right on into this video. Starting off with Best Fairy, Layla, also known as Aisha. Well, we finally have one of the Winx girls with a returning voice actress, because I have to go with her 4Kids voice, Vashti Mumpoint. Granted, she is the voice I grew up with, so my bias is playing a part, but I just feel she nails the character better than any other actress who's ever had the role. Yes, even better than Kiki Palmer. Her voice is very deep, which really suits Layla perfectly. She's not a character who is traditionally feminine like Stella or Flora. She's a tomboy and is very sporty. Her deep voice is perfect for her tough and strong attitude that helps show what a cool character she is.
No way and no how. Give me back the Pixies now! Can you hand me that helmet? Now slide to the back seat. Huh? Come on. How am I gonna drive with you sitting in the front like that? Witches? I used to wipe the floor with your kind back in Tides. Tides is my realm, Baltor, and you're done here.
But she's still able to show Layla's more emotional and vulnerable moments perfectly.
Thanks for asking, but you should pick another partner. I won't be any good.
Why not?
I'm not good with friendships and connecting and stuff.
Are you okay, Layla?
It's nothing. I'll be fine. Thanks. I don't like being in here. I wish I was with my friends. They need me. I've got to help them, but I'm stuck in here. I can't.
Next up, we have the best looking of all the specialists, Helia. As I mentioned in the last video, representation matters, so it was important to pick someone who matches Helia's racial background, which is that of an East Asian man. My girlfriend actually suggested to me Steven Yeun, who you will recognize from The Walking Dead, a show I am not a fan of. However, in the voice acting world, he is the voice of Avatar Juan from The Legend of Korra, Keith from Voltron Legendary Defender, and Mark Rayson from Invincible. He has a very chilled and laid-back sound to his voice that I think would fit Helia to a T, as well as show his emotional depth.
I don't know what to say. It's like I'm hollow inside. Nothing seems real. I just need to get out of the house.
And now we have the big bad this season, basically this show's own version of Satan, Lord Darkar. He's actually one of the few cases where I like all the voices he's had in all the English dubs, but none of them have been truly perfect. His Cinnaloom and Nick voices show him as a demonic creature, but don't give him much personality.
Foolish girl, you barely have the strength to stand. Hand over the Pixies. You can't escape. Hand over the Pixies.
His 4Kids voice is intimidating, but also gives him a lot of personality. However, he doesn't sound enough like a demon like the Cinnaloom and Nick voices, and the dialogue he's given really doesn't help him because... Ugh.
Look, it's a bird. No, it's a man. No, it's Lord Darkar.
Yeah, what were they thinking with his dialogue? And this is coming from someone who thinks the 4Kids dub is the best Winx Club dub, and I will fight that to my very grave. Ultimately, I do have to agree with the Unicorn Awards choice, Ron Perlman. For those of you who don't know who that is, he was the voice of Slade from Teen Titans. That's just... chef's kiss, perfection. He would be able to make him sound like a demon, but also give him some personality, which he did perfectly with his performance as Slade, and that character wasn't even a demon.
You can't stop any of it, really. I have to say, Raven, when I found out the truth, I was very impressed. All this time, I had no idea the power lurking inside you, the glorious destiny that awaits. It's always the quiet ones, isn't it?
Next up we have the bonded Pixies, starting with Lockett. I would have to go with Hayden Welch, who did voice Lockett in the Nick dub. However, I wouldn't have her use that performance because it was...
Hi, I'm Lockett, the Pixie of Direction.
However, I blame that more on the direction she was given because Nick, while it had a lot of talent, as some actors give odd performances. Keke Palmer, for example, is an amazing actress, but they made her speak in a higher register when her regular voice would have suited Aisha far better. So if I were directing this, I would have her use her Starfire voice. It would capture what a high-spirited cinnamon roll she is while showing her being absolutely paranoid and afraid of everything. For Moray, I just had to go with Jodie Benson, who you will all know as the voice of Ariel from The Little Mermaid. I feel like the voice she does as Thumbelina, which is a higher pitch than her Ariel voice, would suit the Pixie of Love like a glove. I mean, just listen.
They are little, just like me. And they live happily ever after. I thought I was the only one my size in the whole world.
As for Chatta, I have to agree with Unicorn Awards choice, Christine Marie Cabanos. She has a lot of experience dubbing for anime, specifically as Sailor Saturn in the biz dub of Sailor Moon. I mean, just listen to this and tell me that there is someone who is more perfect for the role of Chatta.
I know for a fact that you are not inferior to Lady Sapsky. Your boobs are way bigger than hers. Way bigger. I know, because I saw them.
For Toon, I would definitely have to go with Tabitha St. Germain. Those of you who are fans of My Little Pony will recognize her as the voices of Rarity, Princess Luna / Nightmare Moon, Granny Smith, and Derpy. That's not even scratching the surface of her career in voice acting. I feel like her Rarity voice would be absolutely perfect for the Pixie of Manners. She would absolutely nail her high-class and sophisticated side.
I am a lady, and I wish to be addressed as such. So you may call me Miss, or Rarity, or Miss Rarity.
But also show her pompous side and how she really needs to chill out.
You, sir, are the most uncharming prince I have ever met. In fact, the only thing royal about you is that you are a royal queen.
For the best Pixie, Digit, I would definitely have to go back to her 4Kids voice, Lisa Ortiz. She just perfectly fits the character and no one could ever match her performance.
How it might feel is irrelevant. Intuition is important. In matters of love, perhaps, but in this kind of situation, what we need right now is data. Oh, you were right.
For Little Baby Pip, I'm going to have to go with Tara Strong. Yes, I know I said representation is important and that for the characters of color, I would cast actors that match their racial backgrounds. But this is going to be my only exception because Tara Strong is a master at voicing baby characters. Some of the babies she's voiced have been Dill Pickles from Rugrats, BB and Cece from The Proud Family, and Melody from The Little Mermaid 2: Return to the Sea. And that's not even scratching the surface of her career because she has voiced your entire childhood. Moving on to the other Pixies, I'm also gonna cheat and just have Tara do the voice of Glim because, like I said, she's a master at baby voices. For Libby, I would have to go with Katie Griffin, who I know from her work as Alex from Totally Spies. Alex is a character that is klutzy and spastic, but undeniably well-meaning and utterly adorable. So I think she'd suit Livy perfectly, who is very similar, only a lot more forgetful.
Maybe I should have gotten an ice cream bar instead of a dish.
For Zing, I would have to go with Christina V, who a lot of you will recognize for her performance as Marinette from Miraculous Ladybug. She would definitely be able to capture Zing's quirky, sweet, and energetic personality flawlessly.
Don't worry, I'm no stranger to disasters. Besides, there are still a few left.
As for Jolly, I would have to go with Erica Lindbergh. She can play energetic characters with higher-pitched voices very well. She'd be able to do a stellar job showing Jolly's spunk and paranoia.
There I was, sleeping like a sweet babe, when suddenly, from paradise down to hell!
Now we move on to the 4 Elder Pixies. For Concorda, I would have to go with Erica Schroeder, who is a veteran Winx Club actress. She was the voice of Daphne, Pip, Galatea, and Maya in the 4Kids dub, along with some minor characters, and the voice of Farragonda and, unfortunately, Icy in the DeviantArt dub. I think her Farragonda voice would perfectly suit her.
Every fairy animal, even the smallest one, may have a talent that keeps the whole magic universe in balance.
As for Discorda, since she has very few lines, I just have Greta Lyle do her voice. She's a brilliantly versatile actress and would be able to differentiate it from her performance as Griffin.
Unfortunately, Minosos no longer exists, and its exact location is a mystery. So far, the text only says that the city was swallowed by the sea around 400 BC.
Athena has even less lines, so I'm gonna go with Candy Milo, who I have cast as another character who we will get to later in the video.
We were sent by our world to investigate signals from your planet.
As for Ninfea, I would have to go back to her 4Kids voice, Rachel Lillis, who is also a Winx Club veteran. She was the voice of Faragonda, Lucy, Emeril, both the professors of Cloud Tower, and Queen Luna in the 4Kids dub. She did a great job as Ninfea in the 4Kids dub and stood out from other actresses who would voice the character.
I demand you leave Pixie Village at once!
Moving on to non-Pixie characters, for Professor Avalon, he will be keeping his Nick voice, Michael Dorn, who has actually done quite a bit of voice acting work. I really loved his performance, which was very charming and charismatic, which made it very easy for the fake Avalon to trick everyone, and doing a great job when the fake Avalon reveals his true colors.
For this exercise, I need your absolute trust.
Since we do get glimpses of Oratel and Marion in Season 2, I am casting voices for the two of them. For Oratel, this will be quick because he will be keeping his Nick voice, Josh Keaton. He does a great job at making him a loving father, a firm and fair ruler, and a mighty warrior.
And every king, queen, prince, and princess in the magic dimension.
As for Marion, as much as I did love Great Eliel's performance from the Nick dub, I have someone else in mind who I think would fit Marion perfectly. That person would be Jodie Benson. Yes, I know I already cast Jodie as a Moray, but people don't realize just how versatile of an actress she is. I mean, listen to this clip of her being the voice of Jafar's twin sister from the video game Disney's Aladdin in Nasira's Revenge.
Don't worry, Jafar. I have a plan that will rid us of the Jew and that street rat Aladdin once and for all!
You never would have known that that was the same woman who voiced Ariel. Obviously, Jodie wouldn't be using that voice for Marion, but she would be able to show a maturity and a motherly warmth while also displaying that she is just as much a warrior as her husband.
You and Una are too young to know what humans are capable of. If the humans in that ship discover we're down here, we could all be in grave danger. I can't wait any longer. It's time we take matters into our own hands.
Not to mention that in the 4Kids dub of the show, Marion is actually shown seeing the baby bloom in the glimpse we see of her and Oratel in Season 2. I think that adds to the scene, and let's face it, we all know Jodie Benson has an amazing voice, one of the top 5 most beautiful voices I've ever heard. Samara gets dialogue in this season, and I'm gonna go with her Nick voice, Candy Milo. She is an amazingly talented and versatile voice actress. She really showed how Samara was really one of the few sensible people with functioning brain cells in Season 5. She was the opposite of her blowhard husband. I would really love to see how she portrays Samara's harsher and crueler traits from Season 2.
Still keeping tabs on Sky, are you, Diaspora? I don't know if that was such a good idea, Arendor.
As for the hideous and annoying people of Downland, I'll be quick because they will all be keeping their 4Kids voices. Same with the gang from Gardenia and any other characters from Season 2 that I don't mention in this video. Now we move on to the Asians. Yeah, the season had a lot of Asians who played minor roles, and I decided to put them all into one section. As I've said, representation is important, so all of these actors will be voiced by Asians. Starting with Jared, Muse's brief love interest, who frankly would have been so much better for her than her toxic relationship with Ribbon. Anyway, I went with Dante Bosco. He has a very youthful sound to his voice and a lot of undeniable charm and charisma. Not to mention, he can play awkward moments very well, which really would suit Jared perfectly.
My name's Lee. I brought you something. It's a coupon for a free cup of tea.
Next, we have Muse's father, Hobo. I went with B.D. Wong, who you will recognize for his work as the voice of Shang from Mulan. He proved from that performance that he can portray a stick-in-the-mud character that is very strict, but also show his more fun, loving, and caring side. All the qualities you need for this character.
You place your own feelings above everything. Duty, obligation, tradition, it all means nothing to you.
Next up, we have Muse's mother, Madeline/Juanine. For her, I went with Lei Salonga, who you will recognize as the singing voice of Jasmine from Aladdin and Mulan from, well, Mulan. However, she's also done voice acting with her performance as the mother from My Neighbor Totoro. She had a motherly warmth to her and a delicate sound to her that I feel would suit the character.
Hi, May. It's so good to see exactly like my hair when I was your age.
Not to mention, Layla is one of the queens of Broadway, so she clearly has an amazing singing voice, which is very important for the character.
I love him, but every day I'm learning. All my life, I've only been pretending.
Now we move on to the Patchamen, starting with their leader, Ben. For him, I went with Sunil Malhotra. I agree with the Unicorn of War that he would be able to really show Ben's naive optimism and self-righteous attitude very well, at least from what I've heard.
I learned my lesson fighting you in Shang Tsung's tournament. This time, I am prepared.
Next up we have Bo, the self-proclaimed mysterious anti-hero. For him, again, I agree with the Unicorn of War and choose Kaiji Tang. From what I've heard, he portrays brooding rogue characters very well, so he'd be perfect for Bo.
It's obvious that the lands of Kresnik is the greatest threat if war breaks out.
Next up we have the only female member and the self-proclaimed Princess of Beauty, Junko. Originally, I was going to have her be voiced by Dion Kwan, who is best known for being the voice of Kimmy Finster from Rugrats and All Grown Up, Trixie Tang from The Fairly OddParents, and Yasmin from Bratz. However, I recently learned that, unfortunately, she has retired from voice acting. Instead, I decided to go with Brenda Song, who most of you will recognize as London Tipton from The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody and The Sweet Life on Deck. As I've said, I'm not normally a fan of celebrities taking roles away from hardworking voice actors, but I feel like Brenda's voice would really suit the character. She can be over the top, but also be very chilled. Not to mention her voice has a slight raspiness to it that is very attractive. Not to mention she has done voice acting work before, such as her performance as Anne Boonchoi from Amphibia. That's how I know that she's amazing at voice acting. She has a wide array of emotions. It doesn't feel like a celebrity voice, but actually feels like the character.
All I wanted was this town's respect. But just because these people treated me crummy doesn't mean I'm gonna do the same to them.
Next, we have Jimpy, the self-proclaimed smartest kid ever. And yet, in the Sildoom dub, he and the rest of the Patchmen are unbelievably stupid in the very last scene they're in, but whatever. Anyway, I went with Michaela Dietz, who animation fans will recognize as the voice of Amethyst from Steven Universe. I feel like the voice that she uses as Daryl McGee from The Ghost and Molly McGee would really work for this mischievous kid, since Daryl has a very similar attitude to Jimpy.
I followed your lessons to a T. I saw there was a problem, so I took responsibility to think of others and find a solution. The problem? Teachers ruin all the fun.
The last of the Patchmen and the only robot member, Kyu. For him, again, I agree with the Unicorn of War's choice, Gaku Space. He's actually voiced a robot character before and did a great job, so he's absolutely perfect for the role.
The world is changing once again, Hanzo. And it's time to pick a side.
And finally, we have the minor villain and extortionist, Yoshinoya. Once again, I agree with Unicorn of War's choice, Paul Nakauchi. I mean, come on, just listen to this and tell me this isn't just perfection.
You are not the first assassin sent to kill me. And you will not be the last.
And that's my casting for Season 2 of Winx Club. I will be doing Season 3 very soon. So what did you guys think? Do you agree with any of my choices? Who are your choices? Let me know what you think in the comments. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe. Take care!